Welcome to Marketing and Organizing Your Club with WordPress for Toastmasters. I'm your host, David F. Carr. I am a former club president, VPE, number of other roles filled there, also an area governor, back when we called it area governor, and district social media chair. Professionally, I'm a writer and editor, to a lesser extent, a web and social media consultant. I'm a former editor at Information Week, Baseline Magazine, and Internet World. I wrote the book Social Collaboration for Dummies, and I do public speaking on the transformation of the business world related to social media finding their way into the workplace. I'm the developer of a bunch of WordPress plugins, which I'll talk about more later, and I'm the instigator of the WordPress for Toastmasters project, which is what I'm going to be explaining here. The website for it is wp4toastmasters.com. Part of what I'm trying to convince you to do is to be more ambitious about what you do with your club website, because you can adopt the software that I'm recommending and create a boring club website. There's nothing about the software that stops you from being boring. And if you do that, you're not going to have any better results than you would get from using FreeToast Host, which is the default used by most clubs. But if you are ready to be more ambitious, WordPress is a standard for publishing and online marketing. It powers 60 plus million websites. It's going to give you professional tools for online marketing and social media integration. Maybe there's a little bit more complexity that's going on there. I guess the virtue and the vice of FreeToast Host is that it's specific to Toastmasters. You can just sort of fill in the blanks and you have a club website. But if you want to do something more ambitious, I think WordPress is a much better choice. WordPress for Toastmasters is a series of customizations on top of that base platform, starting with branding that's consistent with Toastmasters International guidelines. And I had to go a few rounds with the branding people at Toastmasters.org to make sure that that was true. And it adds functions like meeting role sign up, agenda printing, emailing out reminders, and tracking member performance. So who uses WordPress? Why do I say it's such a big deal? Well, it is used by a lot of professional publications like the New Yorker magazine, Time magazine, Forbes. I actually have a technology blog, or TechCrunch, another technology publication as an example. But again, there are millions. And also pretty popular for general marketing websites. So Walt Disney Company doesn't use WordPress to power the main site that you go to sign up for park tickets, but their corporate site where they're announcing what the stock's worth and they're announcing their news, that's a natural, again, for this format of being able to blog and publish and upload multimedia. WordPress is also pretty popular in the Toastmasters world, particularly at the district level. This is some data from George Marshall, which shared this on the official Toastmasters group on Facebook. And you can see that FreeToast Host, which does offer a template for district sites, is kind of trailing off or stagnant, and WordPress is steadily rising. And that makes sense because particularly at the district level, you have a lot of different types of information you need to publish about contests and conferences, and there's actually a couple of different flavors of WordPress, which causes some confusion. There is the free software that you can obtain and load onto your own server that is distributed through WordPress.org, .org denoting its nonprofit status. And then there's a service, WordPress.com, which is more like a social network for bloggers. So you go in, you create an account, you create a free website. By default, it's going to show up as something like mysite.wordpress.com on the internet. One of the upgrades you can pay for would give you your own independent domain while still using that service. Now, a plugin in WordPress vernacular is a functional enhancement to the system, or a functional change to the system at any rate. And so I've created a plugin that adds Toastmasters behaviors to the WordPress software. I also created a theme, which I'll talk about in a moment, that adds the branding components. But when you're dealing in the software realm, that means you go out and you pay for your own domain, you pay for your own hosting, you add the software, you're responsible for the software updates and keeping the site secure. You have unlimited options in terms of how you can customize things if you have the knowledge to do that, and you have no advertising. Whereas on the other hand, you're going to get a subdomain of toastmost.org, which is part of the WordPress for Toastmasters project. And similar to how WordPress.com works, you have a limited stream of customizations that you can make within that. You have some plugins that you can turn on, but not all the plugins that exist in the world. But in this case, I'm paying for the web hosting. I've got the software all pre-configured for you. I handle the updates. I give you options to customize within limits. And I'm looking for some kind of advertising or sponsorships to pay the bills. So far, still more looking for than finding. So that's the plugin, and that is toastmost.org, where you just fill out a form, you get assigned a password, and you can go in and set up your site. Then there's the WordPress for Toastmasters website, wpfortoastmasters.com, which is all the documentation and the marketing of the concept. One of the underpinnings is this plugin called RSVP Maker, which can be used for general scheduling of events, and you can take RSVPs. You can, when people register, they can pay via PayPal. That's all built into RSVP Maker. So you could use RSVP Maker also for things like conference registration. And then there's this theme, Lectern, which gives you the branding elements. The trademarked Toastmasters branding is not actually included when you download this from WordPress.org, but I included a utility that makes it very easy for you to add one of several different Toastmasters International approved banners to the top of your website. Goals for the website. Make it easy to update, because the more that there is current information there, the more that there are frequency of updates. For one thing, you improve your search engine ranking because Google comes back and indexes it more often. But also people can see when they come to your website that there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of there. You want to make that content compelling. You've got to dramatize the value of Toastmasters. Don't assume people really understand what Toastmasters is or what we do in Toastmasters. And show what makes your club special. So don't just show generic information from Toastmasters.org. You can include some of that. But make sure that you have the faces of the people who folks who are local to you might recognize, or who are particularly distinguished in some way, or who gave a great speech and you're sharing a video of that speech. You certainly have to communicate the basics, where, when, and how to get in touch. And then you want to optimize for search and social media so that your site gets found, that it's easy to click through to. And you want to encourage people to share. So having some buttons where people can, with one click, share it to Facebook, share it to Twitter. Those are all good things. Here's an example of me promoting a member who won a Toastmasters evaluation contest. She's actually only won at the area level, or I say only, but that's nice. We're not hesitating to brag. And one of the things this blog post accomplishes is it included videos of both the speech she was evaluating and her evaluation to try and show people the relationship between those two things. And I tried to explain how that is similar to what we do in a standard Toastmasters meeting, but also that there's this great lady who is in our club and you might get evaluated by her sometimes. And then one of the biggest things that I always do whenever somebody shares a picture of people in action at our club and shares anything that is compelling content about our club, because I'm not the only one who's posting to Facebook, and I shouldn't be. But I'm usually the one who remembers to go in and add a note that says, you can find out any more. You can join us every Friday morning. Here's the club website address. And I've actually spent some time futzing with make sure the preview message that comes up and is displayed within Facebook also looks compelling. And then there's the other side is the functional aspect. Now, I know some clubs use EasySpeak for this function. There's some basic meeting management built into FreeToast. It's not that great, so sometimes clubs will go with EasySpeak and they're happy with that. But I want it to be in one place. I want my members to be in the habit of coming to the website that is also the website that we use for promotion. So that's why I'm trying to build it all into one package. Also, I'd never heard of EasySpeak at the time I started down this road, is the truth. But the idea is that we might take paper signups during a meeting. Then the VP of Education after that meeting goes in and edits the information that's on the website so that we make sure that it's consistent. Emails out a listing of the current agenda for the next meeting with the empty roles showing up, and can add a note saying, please sign up. And there's a link to that specific event asking people to come in and please sign up. So hopefully some of them do come in and they sign up for roles that we need to fill. Maybe we don't completely get it done that way, so somebody still has to get on the phone, get people to volunteer, and then again, edit the agenda, print the agenda on the day of, take it to the meeting, do whatever last minute scrambling you have to do to fill roles that might still not be filled, or fill in for somebody who doesn't show up. In the course of the meeting, distribute a paper sign-up sheet, which you can also print from the website. It shows the next 3 weeks. It shows which things have already been filled in online and where the gaps are. You take that paper sign-up sheet, you edit the information online again, and you start the whole process over. Also, if you're trying to use the site to track member performance, there's a reconciliation step that you can go through to make the data more accurate. So if somebody signed up online or told you they were coming and they didn't actually show up, somebody else stepped in and filled the role, you're going to do a little reconciliation with reality to make sure that the right person gets credit in the system. And that when you look at your reports to show who's close to achieving their competent communicator or any of the other awards, that data will be more accurate. WP, the number 4, Toastmasters.com is the main place where you can find documentation and information. You can write me, david@carcommunications.com. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I hope you found this valuable. And now I want you to go do something ambitious with your club website.